it's gone. Which kind of sucks. Because that would have been some good experience, but... Oh well. Yeah, you remember what I'm talking about, Dorzen? Yeah. There's no... If I go with, like, that ending with Freyr and Zalbar, it just makes it so I can't do that mission anymore, which... Mission, want to talk? Talk about your brother.
Don't worry.
Okay, she doesn't want to open up anymore. Yeah, but I wasn't able to, because when you come up from the Shadowlands, it takes you straight to Freyr, to like that, and the Chundar Freyr. Like, I wasn't even able to go back to the Zerka docks, you know? So it's like... I wasn't even able to do it. I would have had to, like, do a different outcome for the story. Couldn't escape out? No, like, he wouldn't let me, like, run past him. But maybe I could have just, like, pressed escape to end the conversation, right? Can you do that? Or don't you have to, like... You can't just press escape.
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah, you can't just press escape. It's like, no, I must take you now, and then it teleports you. Yeah, I don't think there was any way other than, like, a different resolution where, like, either Chundar wins or whatever. One of the other two options of how it can play out.
Statement.
It's all right. It's just a little bit of experience, maybe a little bit of credits. It's not a big deal.
Statement.
Yeah, there's nothing to do with HK. That'll be all. Maybe Candace has some stories?
Yeah, what do you want?
After all, Miley is the force and I am one with it. Meanwhile, it is a powerful and it is with me.
SpongeBob with force using SpongeBob? That's horrifying. I was wondering if you had any more war stories.
I think I'll tell you a bit about the recent war we had with the Republic.
Ooh.
That might be more familiar to you. The one where Jedi Revan beat my people. We started by conquering worlds outside the Republic. We did it quietly so the Republic wouldn't really know what was going on until it was too late. When we finally did hit the Republic worlds, they had no idea we were coming. We came in through 3 invasion corridors in adjacent sectors. Anyone who put up a fight, or wouldn't fight, was crushed. We razed whole worlds trying to provoke the Republic into fighting us. I don't particularly enjoy wiping out worlds for its own sake, but the cowardly tactics the Republic defenders used left us little choice.
What do you mean?
Hiding in the homes of civilians, using families as shields, thinking we would not use appropriate force on their bases inside major cities. They underestimated our resolve, and what measures are acceptable in war. Those who cannot defend themselves should not be around those who can in battle. If annihilating a city is the kind of power it takes to overwhelm a Republic shield device, then that's what we did. Necessary force to destroy all opposition.
You could have found another way.
I have no time or patience for cowards.
Whoa!
They deserve to be hunted down and exterminated like vermin. There was no honor in wiping them out like rats. But some of your forces did redeem the Republic in our eyes. Especially later.
There's nothing quite like angry Candace. Later?
Later, when Revan had joined the war. But we'll get back to that. We've wasted too much time already. Is there something else you want to know?
Water.
Thank you, Batman. Hello, Batman. I have no time or patience for cowards. Yeah. So good. Best voice actor. Okay, I guess
Your
that's it.
choice. Yeah, what do you...
Tell me more about the Mandalorian Wars.
We fought against the Republic forces for some time, over the course of many battles. At the start, they were not much of a threat to speak of. But once the Jedi Revan took charge, things began to turn against us. The Republic fleets began to use more than just basic tactics. Feints, counterattacks, mass deceptions. Revan was a genius on the field. Revan abandoned worlds of their defenders so that others would be too fortified to strike, and was willing to make sacrifices in order to advance goals. And in the end, Revan proved too much for us.
Couldn't have won against the whole galaxy.
But it was close. So close. It looked like the entire galaxy was within our grasp. I still remember that final battle in the skies above Malachor 5.
Ooh.
The two fleets filling the space around it, outshining the stars.
What happened in the battle?
It was not your ships or your men or your vaunted fight for freedom that won this, the final battle of the war. It was by the actions of one person, the Jedi Revan, that you prevailed. His strategies and tactics defeated the best of us. Even Mandalore himself was taken aback by the ferocity of his attacks, the tenacity of his defenses, and the subtleties of his plans. He fought us to a standstill, and then began pushing back. We really didn't have a chance.
Why didn't you retreat?
It was what we had wanted all along, in a way. We wanted to fight the best, in a battle that would be remembered for centuries. And we did. And Revan won. I don't hold a grudge against Revan, and neither do any of my people. It was the greatest moment of my life to be in that battle. If Revan had been a Mandalorian, nothing in the galaxy would have stopped us. But wishing for the past to be different is useless. Better look to the future, as we should now. We'll talk more later, I think. Is there something else you want to know?
Nothing now.
Yeah, what do you...
Okay. All caught up from his war stories. Won't be using this. Yeah, we'll just keep. It's fine.
Although I dislike thinking of it, I'm imagining myself taking on someone of the likes of General Grievous.
Grievous. I think he could take him, Sponge. I think he could take him. Guess we... do this. We're only gonna have like one Jedi in the group for the most part. Yes, let's do this. Baka Ceremonial Blade. This thing is broken, man. It's so good. It's so good. Best melee weapon in the game, probably. I don't remember it being very good. That's awesome. Got plenty of those, so just go ahead and keep them all upgraded. It's fine.
Hello there.
Hello there. All right. Gizka. Jolie.
Got something on your mind, do you?
Can you make a healing kit for me?
I suppose I could whip up something, a few herbs and such. You do know that the best alternative is not to get hurt, right? Well, not to say that you go leaping into the path of blaster fire or anything, but I know how you young people get. Here, take it.
Whoa.
Got something. How many could you possibly need? And besides, I don't have enough supplies on me to put some more together. Ask me later when you're actually in need and I'm less tired.
Jeez.
I'm not a kit factory, you know.
I mean, kind of are, though.
Got something.
Oh,
I know plenty about Kashyyyk. Chances are, by the time I finish telling you about it all, you would have found out for yourself. So there's no reason for me to start blathering on.
Okay.
It should be enough for me to tell you that there's kilometer after kilometer of trees on this planet. The deeper you go, the more dangerous it gets. If you're smart, you stay on top with the Wookiees. You go deep, however, and you may find some... And that's about all I got to say about that. Got something on... I have no idea what you're talking about, Rambo. What do you say?
what are you talking about? The Gizka are all in my head, confirmed. General Squarepants, you are a bold one. can't, huh? Why does he hate me? A bunch already. All right, Juhani, you got anything? Anything for me?
What is it?
Something wrong?
I was remembering Taris.
Of course you were. I'm sorry, Juhani.
No, it's all right. I think I am over the worst of it.
That's good.
I apologize again for lashing out at you. It was not your fault. It was a horrible place to have to live. At least in the lower cities where the non-humans tended to get relegated. Living for years in a place with no sun, living off the trash dropped from the upper levels, and the meager pay doing back-breaking labor.
And those rackhools.
There was always the danger of rackhools coming up from the sewers.
True.
Or more mundane
Bane of my
predators
existence.
living and working in the area. My family and I struggled each and every day to make something of our lives. But we could only go so far. Taxes from the corrupt government, more fees from the gangs controlling the streets, and whatever was left paying for what food and medical supplies we could afford.
No one would help you?
And of course, there was the constant bigotry and hate from the more affluent and human citizens, lording their wealth over us living below. Every once in a while,
Too
a rich
real.
human would come down through the lower levels with his droid entourage just to see how the wildlife lived, and laughed at the mockeries that were our successes. But I have come to meet many decent humans in my travels since those days. Indeed, some of the greatest people I have ever met are human.
Like who?
The Jedi who encouraged me to join the Order. The one who was with the group going to fight the Mandalorians. She was human. I am sorry.
Is that a reference to
I
the
am
exile?
getting away from my point. If there even was one. Sometimes I curse the day my parents fled to Taris. But then again, if they had not, I would not be where I am today.
Oh, Vad coming out of, stirred from his sleep. Ooh! What up, Vad? Maybe though. Did one of his codes? I know, dude. I'm sorry. I won't be on for much longer. It's just like the last little bit. But I wonder if it's a reference to the exile. I don't think in the second one there's ever a mention of like Juhani at all. But it refers to a human woman that went to fight with Revan in the Mandalorian Wars. I can only imagine that it was the exile, right? I'm going to assume that it was. It seems so out of place otherwise. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, who cares? And it's way cooler that way. So I'm gonna assume the exile encountered Juhani and convinced her to come join the Order. But most likely I'd say yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with yes. It's never confirmed exactly. There's a joke about Jolie. You can tell Brianna. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Your parents?
Another story for another time.
Oh, great.
For now, we must continue our own epic. To save the galaxy, if we can.
True.
How may I be of assistance to you?
It's a little on the
Padawan?
nose there, Juhani. I was wondering if we could talk.
What is it?
Tell me about your past right now.
Well, I mentioned before that my parents had fled to Taris. Perhaps I can tell you about that.
Yes. You could have told me that 30 seconds ago. Please do.
In the early days of the Mandalorian War, there had been fighting closer to the Outer Rim worlds.
Near the world your species comes from.
Cathar was there, yes. My people had a great reputation as warriors, and that appealed to the Mandalore version of honor. They sought to test themselves against us, I think. Test themselves by bombing our world, slaughtering my people while they slept or while they ran.
How did it happen?
They swooped down from space across the world, firing at anything that moved. They used ships in space to destroy all orbital facilities and bombard the surface. We did resist, and in spite of their violent attack, we did stave them off for quite a while. But in the end, we were doomed.
Why did the Republic not help you?
We were not members of the Republic.
Ah.
Cathar was beyond the edge of the Republic, in the Outer Rim. And besides, they could not have known. Our interstellar communications were the first things the Mandalores hit. All other short-range communicators were jammed. We were on our own. We knew what was coming. We had fought the Mandalorians in the first war against Exar Kun and the Sith. We knew there would be no mercy for us. The most we could do was pack the few of our people who survived onto what few ships remained and send them off into space as fast as they could. Most did not make it.
But you survived.
My parents carried me as a baby with them and were lucky enough to escape. They
Nice.
fled as far as they were able and eventually settled on Taris. They could stand running no further, I think. But Taris was a horrible choice.
True.
Dominated by humans, intolerant of other species. It made everyday life unnecessarily hard.
Did they know that getting into it? Yeah, your parents do not sound very wise to me. Ugh. Taris is not a nice place to raise a child.
No, it is not. But they had little choice. Each of us.
You just said they had a
dealt with it in our
choice.
own way. My
And it was a bad one.
My father turned to stimulants. He spent much of his time in local bars and dives. But we are warriors. It runs through our blood. And when he was on stims, he became foolish. He
Any
let his
stimmers?
warrior nature get the
Don't do
best of
drugs,
him.
kids.
So he would get intoxicated, and he would fight. And finally, one day, he would die.
How did he die?
Killed by a man who provoked him into a fight and killed him like an animal. I am sorry. I cannot talk about this any longer right now.
But maybe in 30 seconds. If SpongeBob were a Jedi during the prequel era, would he participate in the Clone Wars and survive Palpatine's attempt on his life through Order 66, as well as any Inquisitor or Vader coming after him? I don't know. Isn't like SpongeBob like undestroyable? Isn't he like indestructible? Or like he can like always like reassemble or something? He's like Deadpool, right? So I don't know. The Force is a weird thing, right? Maybe he could like be like brainwashed to not reassemble after being like blown up. But cartoons are OP like that, man.
How may I be of assistance? What is it? I have been doing well, I suppose. As well as I can. But I am more interested in you right now. Do not mistake me. It is just that, even though we have traveled together for a while, it seems I know next to nothing about you personally.
What do you want to know?
We have been traveling together since Dantooine, but I know nothing of you before that. Would you humor me and tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, it is, of course, the greatest story ever told.
Your
It's true.
humility is astounding, as always. So what can you tell me? Your job? Your childhood? Your life? I am sorry if I am making you uncomfortable. I will fully understand if you choose not to answer.
Damn right, it's none of your business. Nah, it's all right.
I greatly appreciate your taking the time to talk to me. How did you come to be on Dantooine? Besides the obvious, of course.
I flew. I was in the Republic fleet that was destroyed over Taris.
Taris. It always seems to come back to Taris for me. I am sorry. I get distracted. What did you do before that?
PTSD. I was a scout for the Republic Armed Forces. The RAF.
A life in the army. Not my career of choice, though. We Cathar cannot seem to adjust to regimented organizations like the military. But I have heard that it appeals to males of your species. Fighting? Defending? That is what we as Jedi seem to be called upon to do. Perhaps we are not as unalike as I had previously thought. But again, I seem to be wasting your time with my carrying on. I apologize. I have been watching
okay.
for some time.
Here we go.
I wonder if you have noticed. I have been thinking of how far I have fallen, and how you exemplify the code of the Jedi. I find myself ashamed.
Ashamed?
That I had so easily fallen to the dark side. That I could convince myself that by injuring my master, I became a great force of evil in the galaxy for my pride, my hubris, for the inner rage that all of my species feels. Sometimes I wish that I had not been born this way.
Hmm. Huh. You have nothing to be ashamed of.
I am sorry. I start to talk, thinking about how you stay strong to the path of virtue and justice, and I find myself whining again about my own inadequacies.
Yeah?
The Council would be proud to see that you had learned your lessons so well. How may I be of a...
Anything else?
What is it?
Okay, she's good.
How may I...
Can you solve the
I do
Gizgos?
not know how to help you with that.
Okay. I listened to her spiels for hours and she doesn't get rid of the Gizgos for me. What is this? What is this? Taking advantage of my hospitality, Juhani.